Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday night comic book preview stream. I am Aaron here for Fantasy Books and Games. As you can see, I am by myself today, but there's not a whole lot of stuff to talk about that's coming out tomorrow. I take that back. Actually, I have a lot of books here, but comparing it to previous weeks, like I think I've been complaining maybe a little bit that the last couple of weeks have just been so huge with so many releases, and we've definitely cooled down a little bit, which is kind of fortunate because that gives me a chance to talk about some of the books that came out in the last couple of weeks that we just didn't have time to talk about back then, so long ago in the last week or two. But yeah, so since I'm by myself, I think we're just going to jump right into it. If you've been watching this stream, you know that I love starting off with the facsimiles. And just a reminder, I haven't really been talking about every issue when it comes out, but the DC is reprinting the original Hush story as facsimile issues. So this is Batman 614. Don't have a whole lot to say about it, but I just a reminder for those of you that might be interested. If you're excited about the new Hush series, we've got Batman versus the Joker in this one, and all these great. Look at that GameCube ad in there. Just relive the classic 2002 era. But there we go. So yeah, Batman, and then also I think this is the one I'm most excited about. Although I'll be honest with you, it's not technically a facsimile, and I'm a pedantic person, so that bothers me. But Skybound has been doing great stuff with GI Joe, as you all know. I won't shut up about GI Joe, so I'm very excited for this reprint of GI Joe number 21. This, of course, is one of the most famous issues of GI Joe. This is the famous silent issue, and Skybound Image, they're just killing it with the quality of their reprints. Like, I love this. It's on the original type of paper, newsprint paper that it would have been printed on. It looks beautiful. This issue is actually the first appearance of Storm Shadow, one of the most popular characters in G.I. Joe. And if you aren't aware, this is, like I said, this is the famous silent issue that there's just no dialogue, no text. It's just the art by the great Larry Hama. And the funny thing about that is when they did this issue, they didn't like set out to make like a gimmicky issue. It was 100% just a deadline crunch, and they did not have time to write and letter it. So they had all the art done, and they were like, you know what, let's just put it out as silent, and it'll be kind of gimmicky. And the funny thing about that is that in the original version, and I'm kicking myself because I wish I kind of would have brought my original version so that we could compare the two. But the original one, this book was published by Marvel back in the 80s, so they all had the Stan Lee Presents on there, and the original issues had a bunch of text boxes from Stan Lee explaining to you that there was no dialogue or captions in the issue. And I don't remember it exactly, but it was like, no, your comic book is not defective. It's a wacky, wild Marvel comic where there's no dialogue and no talking. And what do those crazy Marvel writers think up next? And in typical Stan Lee fashion. But it's kind of funny because the whole point is that there's no text in it, but Stan Lee can't stop. Even when there's a book with no dialogue, Stan Lee puts some dialogue in there or puts some text in there. It's can't help himself. And it might not have even been Stan. It might have just been the editor of the book at the time. But still, in this, as you can see in this new printing from Skybound, they cut all of that out. So it's the original issue as it would have originally been without that. And it, like I said, looks great. It doesn't have any of the ads that would have been in the original issue, but still, just I mean, what beautiful looking artwork. I was like, it's like a 40-something-year-old comic book. Still might be my pick of the week, just on principle. Because I want to reward the quality of these reprints on there. There's also a couple of collected editions, trade paperbacks coming out tomorrow that I want to spotlight. I've talked a lot about this book, Batman Offworld, over the last year as it's come out, and trade paperback is coming out for the first time tomorrow. Whoops, my camera's a little out of. There we go. Beautiful. This story is written by Jason Aaron. Beautiful, beautiful artwork by Doug Mahnke, and I. This is basically just Batman in space, and it's really good. It's like young Batman though. It's like year 2, year 3 Batman, where he realizes that there's aliens and monsters, and so he has to go out into space to learn how to fight them. And really cool story, really good looking art. And I don't want to spoil it, but like the ending to this is really like it's really over the top in a really cheesy way, but in kind of a great way. It's like very few things can pull that off where it's like so cheesy and so stupid but also kind of great, and that's the ending to Batman Off-World. So highly recommend that one as well. Another collected edition coming out tomorrow, The Toxic Avenger. Who's hyped for the new movie with Peter Dinklage in the role of Toxie? That's pretty wild. But Ahoy Comics has been doing a new Toxic Avenger series. I think I talked about issue 1 when it came out. It's written by Matt Bors and art by Fred Harper, I believe. And I liked it. I thought it was pretty funny. I don't have a lot of strong opinions about the Toxic Avenger. I remember watching the cartoon Toxic Crusaders back in the '90s when I was definitely too young to have seen the movie Toxic Avenger. But yeah, it's a pretty good comic. It's definitely really funny, really silly, and kind of gross, which is what you expect from Toxic Avenger. One more trade paperback coming out tomorrow, Rook Exodus. I haven't really talked about this one on the stream that much because I haven't been following it, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. So now that we have the trade paperback, I'm probably going to read it. But this is part of the Ghost Machine line of books. This is written by Jeff Johns, and I talked about his other series that he's also doing at Ghost Machine. What was it? Redcoat and Geiger, and they're really good. And so this is another one. This is kind of it's basically like Mad Max meets Blade Runner. It looks like kind of a post-apocalyptic future world where all the rich people have left the planet, and people are left on this dead planet trying to survive and figure out a way to get off the planet onto a better one. It looks like, but really cool. Strong art from Jason Fabok, who is that's the one of the biggest appeals of these Ghost Machine books is that it is top of the line creators working on these. So you can just count on them just being at least really good looking comics. So yeah, this one looks really good. I'm excited to kind of dive into it and see how it goes. Okay, as I promised, I've got a few books that came out last week and the week before that we didn't have a time to really look at them. Also, just some of this stuff we didn't have on our normal Wednesday because if you're knowledgeable of insider industry information, Diamond Comics has been experiencing some rough patch lately, and they haven't been shipping things on time. But hopefully, that's all going to get sorted out in the future. But we do have, if you missed this book last week or the week before, I don't remember which week it came out, there is Red Sonja Attacks Mars. And this one, the premise alone got me to pick it up. It also comes polybagged with a little trading card of the cover, a little, just classic '90s gimmick right there. This is a sequel to the 2020 series Mars Attacks Red Sonja. But what got me interested in this is that it is written by Jay Stevens, who did. Oh man, I'm totally blanking on the comic that he did. He did that horror comic that looked like the old Harvey cartoons. That looked like Casper, but it was like graphic and really horrific, which were really good comics and a lot of fun. So I was curious to see how this would go. And I didn't even read the first Mars Attacks Red Sonja, but I still enjoyed this. It's pretty funny. He has a lot of fun kind of with the Martian aliens. Most of this issue does kind of feel like setup and explaining stuff that happened in the previous series. So there's like a little bit of Martian Red Sonja action, but it definitely looks like most of it is going to happen in the next issue. So it left me, just teased enough that I'm curious about getting the next issue. So yeah, I enjoyed it though. Like the beautiful covers by what's his name, Linzer, who does all these Red Sonja covers, and I think they're really cool looking. But yeah, so I think the covers alone will sell this. Okay, also from a few weeks ago that we didn't get a chance to talk about, and I'm actually really disappointed that we didn't get a chance to talk about this because it's one of my absolute favorite comic book series of all time, and it's kind of a big deal that there's a new issue. So, and I'm a little disappointed that I'm all by myself in here, so I don't have anybody to like freak out with me geeking out about this new comic book series. But I am, of course, talking about Mouse Guard: Dawn of the Black Axe. This is, if you don't know, Mouse Guard is one of the greatest comics of all time. It's written and drawn by David Peterson, and it's set in a kind of a medieval world, not fantasy, just medieval. But I think the quick explanation is it's similar to the Redwall novels if you're familiar with those. But it's about these mice who live in a like an area of a forest, and they have something called the Mouse Guard, and their job is to just uh, uh, provide protection. They're not like knights or warriors; they don't go to war, but they do provide protection for other mice that need to travel through the forest so they don't get eaten by other animals like snakes and foxes and birds and whatnot. And everything is represented very realistically. The animals are all like they're the size that they would be in the real world. So there's a scene, as you can see here, where the mouse, one of the mouse is oh yes, very interested in this one. Yes, I agree. But yeah, like the mice is fighting a snake, and one of the things that I should have led at the top is that this issue is not drawn by David Peterson like the previous series were. This is illustrated by, oh, I lost his name. It's Rodriguez, Gabriel Rodriguez, and I have to say it's really good looking. So I was really happy with that. Because I was a little worried, like when you have a series, when you have a comic book series that's its entire identity is a single creator, it can be a little, uh, nervous. It makes me a little nervous when there's like a different artist coming in to do it. But honestly, at first I knew it was a different artist, but I was reading it and I had to double check the credits to see that it was actually a different artist. And I think it helps that David Peterson is still coloring and lettering it, so it still looks like the classic mouse guard, even if it's a different artist that's actually drawing it. But yeah, this is if I didn't say already, this is a prequel to the Black Axe character, and basically it's just a story of how he gets the axe and goes on this mission and kind of builds his legend. And he is being led by a spirit animal that nobody else believes is there, but he can see and talk to. So there's a little bit of like a mystical element to it going on. But yeah, honestly, hands down, one of my favorite comic books of all time, and this did not disappoint. I'm so excited. Yeah, art is beautiful. If you haven't read Mouse Guard at all, just go buy all the hardcovers right now. It's one of the best comic book series ever made. Really good stuff. Another book I wanted to talk about briefly. I did show this one off when it came out. Is We're Taking Everyone Down with Us. At the time that it came out, I hadn't had a chance to read it, so I just kind of flipped through it casually and give you a quick summary that it's kind of a supernatural espionage story. But I've had a chance to read it, and I just want to flip through it again just to give it another thorough recommendation. I really, really like this book. The art is great, and the way the story unfolds is really in creative and just like perfectly plotted out. Uh, Again, I don't necessarily want to spoil too much, but it's basically like this is like a James Bond story, but the perspective is not from James Bond. The perspective is from I don't even necessarily want to say from a villain, but it's from somebody that would normally be like a side character in a James Bond story. They're the focal point, and so this whole world of super science and robots and spies and government warfare is all kind of unfolding from their perspective, which they know nothing about. So it's really, 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 really good. I just want to give this a second recommendation. If you haven't read this, this is it's written by Matthew Rosenberg, and art is by oh, my camera's there. We go. Art by Stefano Landini, and excellent, excellent comic. I really, really liked it. So I'll definitely will be talking about future issues of that. as it comes out. Okay, let's move on to some books that are releasing tomorrow, some new comics. One that I have not read, and I'll be perfectly honest, I'm probably not going to read it, but it's still worth letting you know that it's all coming out. I am speaking, of course, Marvel Rivals. I have not played this game. I don't play a lot of video games, admittedly. I don't know anything about this, but I do know that it is very, very popular. And I might be going out on a limb here when I say that I think the Marvel Rivals game has done more to get people to buy comic books than 10 years, the last 5 years for sure, of Marvel movies. I think that the hype around this has been really good and exciting to see. I'm seeing a lot of young readers wanting to explore these characters that they saw in the video game, and we're seeing a lot of different characters that are finding connection with like a newer audience where previously they were just kind of like D-list characters. Characters like Jeff the Shark. It's fun to see him kind of blowing up a little bit, even more than he already was. But so yeah, I'll be honest, I can't tell you a single thing about this story. I just want to let you know that it is here, and if you maybe are a parent and your kid loves Marvel Rivals, definitely check out this game if your kid hasn't already told you, because kids are usually pretty on it for this type of stuff. But yeah, it looks a lot of fun, strong art. I'm sure the story is good as well. This I'm sorry, I'm just getting distracted by this like anime girl Galactus. I have no idea what's going on here, but you know what? I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it. So maybe I will read it. Who knows? But Marvel Rivals. You know what? If you didn't know it was here, definitely get it. I'm sure it'll be. It reminds me of several years ago they did the Fortnite crossover books with DC and then Marvel, and those books were all really really popular with kids. So anything that gets kids reading comic books, I am all for. Another book that comes out tomorrow. I haven't had a chance to read it, but I did talk about issue one when it came out. Is Pop Kill, and I enjoyed this comic as something that's it's also in the espionage like spy thriller story, but this one's a little bit more comedic. It's a little more satirical. If you don't remember me talking about the first issue, the main character is like a corporate spy, and the two the two rival corporations that are at war with each other are both a soda pop company. They're both soda pop companies, and they're both brothers that own rival soda pop companies. And one of them hires him to like break in and sabotage their factory so that their sales will go down. And then another one hires him to kidnap a scientist who's working on a new soda formula. And overall, I thought it was really really fun. And my reaction to reading the first issue, if you don't remember, I just at a glance, I was like, this looks kind of just like a generic action story. But then when I actually read it, I was surprised because it was really funny and more satirical than I realized. Like there's kind of a lot of jokes about corporate espionage and just the whole nature of like these giant soda pop companies willing to kill people just to preserve their legacy and their feud, because again it's two brothers that hate each other. But yeah, so if you're looking for something different, if it's a lighter week for you, and you know because everything came out last week, definitely check out Kill. Pop Kill, yeah. All right, another book coming out tomorrow, one of my favorites. I've talked about this one a lot, The Lucky Devils. I can't say too much about this issue because I haven't had a chance to read it, but I loved the first two issues. This is from the same creative team as 8 Billion Genies. So if you've watched this stream, you've definitely heard me talk about the first two issues. Charles Soule and Ryan Brown, they are just killing it with this series. This looks a lot of fun. The high concept in this series is that every human on Earth has a devil assigned to them, and the devil's job is to corrupt them and just make life on Earth worse. And the kind of the twist, the joke of it is that hell is not this like horrible place that's just like a pit of fire where people are getting tortured. It's just like a bureaucracy where all these devils just have a job. It's their day job, and the people that are really successful in hell are the people that are like you know, to use a timely term, a crypto bro type guy who's really slick and you know knows how to sell people on like a spinning a fast buck and lies and takes advantage of people and all this kind of stuff. And so the main characters are these two devils that are kind of punk rock, and their whole thing is they want to destroy hell because they hate it there. And so they concoct this weird scheme where they reveal themselves to their humans and vow to do things to make their lives better so that their humans can start improving the world. And in doing so, this causes hell to kind of fall apart because they're not supposed to be doing that. So everything is getting shaken off of its axis because nothing's working right. It's a lot of fun. It's very funny, but also a little profound, a little deep in a few areas. Just the way it explores morality and philosophy and kind of the meaning behind why people think and do the things that they do, but in a very hilarious, funny context. Highly, highly recommend Lucky Devils. Another book coming out tomorrow. I've talked about this one, I think, almost every month that it comes out, but I'm really enjoying Absolute Superman. Issue 6 comes out tomorrow. This issue is kind of the make or break issue for me with this series. I have been enjoying it, but I think I said last time I liked the flashback stuff that took place on Krypton more than the stuff that was taking place on Earth. And this is the issue where Krypton has finally exploded and Kal-El lands on Earth. So the flashback is catching up. It's still a flashback, but like it's catching up to the present day story. But I really just it's really good. It looks cool. It's written by Jason Aaron, who I talked about with the Batman Off World. There's just something about his writing I really like. Like he really balances like a serious tone, but also with like a believable, down to earth approach to the characters, and that works really well in this issue that features the Kents, Ma and Pa Kent. So I enjoyed this issue. I'm going to definitely keep following this series. Do recommend it. We've talked about a lot of the Absolute books, actually all of them, I think, that have come out, and Superman's still pretty high on the roster. I think Absolute Wonder Woman might be better, but I like Superman more than Wonder Woman. And of course, Absolute Martian Manhunter issue number 1 that came out last week. I couldn't stop praising it. It's one of my favorite single issue comic books that I've read in a long time. On that note, also coming out tomorrow is Absolute Green Lantern number 1. And I don't have a lot to say about this other than it didn't click with me. Definitely not in the way that Absolute Martian Manhunter did. Yeah, yeah, Absolute Martian Manhunter for the win. Absolutely. This I don't want to like I can't really talk about this without going into spoilers, and I don't want to spoil anything. But I will say it's written by Al Ewing, who is an artist that I really, or a writer that I really like. He's written a lot of stuff recently that I think has been really good, and this story just feels kind of typical Absolute. I worry that we're going into like it just feels like the generic Absolute Universe book where it hits all the like beats and ideas that you've already kind of seen in the other Absolute books, but now it's in the Green Lantern book, and so I wasn't too impressed by it. But also a lot of it was all just kind of set up and build up, and we'll see where it goes. There's still time for Al Ewing to throw a few twists in there, maybe a few turns, but if you're a Green Lantern reader, definitely might want to check it out. But yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna say. I don't have as much to say about it as I did Absolute Martian Manhunter. Which, if you haven't read Absolute Martian Man, I will say this: the other day, I couldn't stop talking about Absolute Martian Manhunter, and somebody came into the store and we had it sitting out because they were buying Absolute books, and he just said, "Oh no, I don't want that. That looks stupid." And I had to stop myself from just jumping over the counter. No, I'm just kidding. I would never. But also, new book coming out tomorrow. If you're looking for something new, this one caught my eye just because it's a fun title. I did see that they extended it. It was originally Martian Manhunter was going to be a 6 issue series, and now it's 12. So yes, I'm so super hyped. But also coming out tomorrow, I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer. This is a pretty graphic cover, I gotta say. So I think if you pick this book up, you definitely know what you're getting. This is by Doug Wagner and Daniel Hilliard, and this is the same creative team that did other horror books. I think they have them in the back here: Vinyl and Plastic. If you've seen these books, I have read these books, and I will be honest, they're not really my thing. But I just decided to flip through this just because it's a new book, and it's definitely a horror book. It's about a serial killer, and it's from the serial killer's perspective, but it's set in a fashion school where people go to learn how to do high fashion, and definitely not really my thing. But it's a solid comic, and I think our friend Abby, who loves horror and serial killers especially, she will really like this book. So I'm gonna make her read it, and then I will report back to you to let you know what she said about it. Also coming out tomorrow, I got two more books. When I do this by myself, I just fly through this because there's not as much joking around. There is Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe one last time. This is the third Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. This is written by Cullen Bunn, who wrote the previous ones. And, I didn't even read the previous two Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe series. Every time a Deadpool book comes out, I probably make mention of this. I like the character. I have a lot of Deadpool comics from the 90s and the early 2000s, but at a certain point, the character got so popular that they just kept making new series after new series after new series, and he was definitely overexposed. And right around that time is when they first did the first Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. That's when I stopped reading Deadpool. I said I have enough. Getting a bit burnt out on Deadpool, but I'm going to read that one. Yeah, I was gonna say this is it's weird to say that Deadpool's overexposed already, because this month of April, there's like a million Deadpool comics out right now. They're like calling it April Pools month, and there's like three different Wolverine Deadpool comics, and the Deadpool normal series. There's like a Deadpool team up. There's this Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. But I decided to read this just because I do enjoy Cullen Bunn's writing, and I figured I would just check it out for the stream. Actually, I think what got my attention was that right on the first page, Deadpool's fighting the Nth Man, which that's a deep cut if you don't know. He had a comic book series in the early '90s, written by, I believe, Larry Hama, if I'm not mistaken. Larry Hama, creator of GI Joe, and so I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll give this a read. And flipping through it, I saw that there's a lot of deep cuts, and I kind of appreciated this first issue is all set up, but I appreciated that it was just Deadpool going through and killing a lot of, I don't want to say bad storyline versions of characters. Definitely not bad, but just like unique. Like there's Franken Castle when the Punisher was a Frankenstein monster. There's like one of the Craven kids. There's the story where Daredevil became a demon, and I got a kick out of like just sending Deadpool to eliminate all these like kind of forgotten stories or characters, and then there's a little bit of a twist at the end of where the series is going as a whole. But I liked it actually. I thought I would not like it because I'm so sick of Deadpool, but they kind of like, again, Cullen Bunn treats it really seriously, like it's a horror comic, and Deadpool's not very quippy. He's like, this is a different Deadpool, and he's brooding and miserable. But then some of the silliness starts to come back in weird ways, so we'll see where it goes. But you know what? I thought this was actually pretty good, especially if we're grading it on the Deadpool scale, where you don't need any more Deadpool comics. There's just a million out there, but you're gonna get them, so they might as well be all right and fun to read, and that's what this one is. All right, one last book to talk about. I saved, I don't want to say the best for last, but it's the one I probably was interested in talking about the most. I'm wearing my G.I. Joe shirt. We talked about the G.I. Joe Silent Interlude reprint issue that's coming out. And the reason that Skybound is reprinting that is because they're actually doing a whole series of books for the new G.I. Joe Energon universe called Silent Missions. And the first one is Silent Missions Beachhead. And if you don't know, Beachhead is my favorite G.I. Joe. I just really liked the toy as a kid. He's in the G.I. Joe movie. He's really funny, and I like the character a lot. So what a character to lead off with the silent missions. Also, this issue is written and drawn by Phil Hester, who is a great veteran of the comic book industry, awesome artist, good writer. And this is like the reprint comic. This is a completely silent issue, and it's just Beachhead going on a mission, and it's really good. Because the neat thing about these silent issues is that the art has to tell the story very clearly, and you really get to just sit down and focus on the art. And like just in this 2 page spread, you can see there's a helicopter crashing, Beachhead and some Cobra troopers are falling out. There's these two characters on a roof. You got Beachhead still handcuffed. Somebody approaches him, punches Beachhead. Beachhead kicks the guy as he's falling over. It's all just like it flows really nicely. Like really cool comic. I don't think I want to show too much about this because like just appreciating the art is what this story is all about. But it's really good looking, masterful storytelling by Phil Hester, and of course, it features my all-time favorite GI Joe, Beachhead. So I have a Beachhead cosplay costume that I wore for Halloween. I almost wore it today just in honor of this issue being released, but I didn't because I thought it maybe be a little weird if I was dressed up like Beachhead all day. But yeah, so if you aren't reading the Energon universe, definitely first of all I recommend it because the Transformers and GI Joe comics are awesome. But this is a very cool single issue comic. You don't have to have followed anything about the series. You can just pick this up and read it and enjoy it as a cool action comic, and it definitely delivers on that. So very excited for that. All right, everybody, that's my stack. That's what I got coming out tomorrow. There's a few other things, but I think those were either the most interesting or most notable, definitely from my perspective. But so we're gonna cut the stream off early there. Thank you everybody for tuning in. As our friend Dan likes to say, there's comics out there for everybody. It's not just superhero stuff. So come on down to Fantasy Books and Games, grab some comics. Hey, and yeah, I think we're just gonna call it there. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.